All right, so today we are replacing the front speakers in my 2002 IS300. Now this has the Lexus brand stereo system. I believe they all have this, kind of cover back here with the speakers and stuff. So it should be the same for all '02 IS300s. Heck, it should probably be the same for all IS300s of the first generation here. So I'm gonna show you what I got. Got the kicker. 6 3/4, so 6.75, DSC 670, and then I also here have some Neuco sound deadening, 10 square feet, 80 mil. This stuff is great. I literally sound deadened the entire cabin of my Jeep Cherokee with this stuff, and even with my subs and my speakers and stuff, there is zero vibration. This stuff is fantastic. Not sponsored, really good stuff though. And then we also have the Metra speaker adapter here, 82-80 or 8148. I'll leave links to all this stuff in the description below. Here are the Metra adapters. Now, you might have a problem with these. They say they fit up to 6 3/4 speakers. However, yesterday I went ahead and got a spare 6.5 inch speaker that I had, and it fit in these holes here. So I'm not sure how 6 3/4 is supposed to fit in these holes also, even though it's a whole 1/4 inch bigger. So I guess we'll see. I might have to trim this a little bit or maybe drill some holes, but either way, we'll make it work. So let's go ahead and open up the kicker speakers here. I'll just show you around the box real quick, by the way. There it is. Pretty basic. Kicker is a pretty good brand in my opinion, so I'm going to use them in the Lexus here. Let's go in and open them up and see what is included. All right, so here is the kicker box. We'll take these out in a second. I also want to mention that I also have speaker wire adapters coming in the mail. I believe those are coming in like 2 days, so I'm gonna have to wait a couple days to get these in. But basically, those are so you don't have to cut into the factory harness. Obviously, I don't want to do this or do that. I want to do this the right way, so that's without any cutting and stuff. Anyways, just gonna take out the first one here. Get out the box. Things are really crammed in there. There we go. It is taped up. I'll go ahead and pull out the Lexus key here, and I'll actually cut it with the key. Oh, just unlocked it. Anyways, take it out here. All right, there they are. So I actually have these exact same ones in my Jeep Cherokee, except they are, I think, about an inch smaller. So these are, again, they're pretty much the exact same though. Same series. Looks like first of all we have a speaker grill. We're not going to be using that though. And then we also have the speaker right here. Take it out. There it is. Looks pretty nice. Very good. 4-ohm, which the factory speakers, from what I could tell, are also 4-ohm, so this should be compatible with the factory head unit without any problems. We have the speaker adapters, I guess, right here. I'm not going to be using those either because we do have ones coming in the mail, and then this is the exact same thing in here than the other side, except it looks like this one has a couple of extras, some screws along with some splice adapters here, which I'm not going to be using that either. So there it is, pretty cool. So I guess I'll see you guys in 2 days whenever we get those wire adapters, and we'll go ahead and throw them in. All right, now for the speaker adapters, I actually had to cut the tabs off. I was looking at the reviews the day I bought these actually, and a couple people said they had to cut off the tabs, so I bought them. And I was like, well, if I have to cut off the tabs, whatever. And sure enough, I do, because the tabs interfere with the base, the whatever you want to call this, of the speaker. About right there is where it hits. So I had to cut the tabs off. This is cool right here. You could use a Dremel. You could really use a bunch of different things as long as it can cut plastic. And so that's what I did. And now they fit in here perfect. They line up with the screw holes, and I found out why. And that's because these have a bunch of different screw holes here because they're kind of meant to have like a universal fit. They're meant to fit in pretty much any vehicle. So that's really the only reason these screw holes actually line up with the adapter here. So this will work, so I'm really happy to see that. So again, I'll see you guys in a couple days whenever I get those wire adapters. All right, it is now a few days later, and I just got the adapters in the mail. So let's go ahead and start off, first of all, taking off the door panel. So number one, you have a screw right in there, Phillips head screw. I already took mine out. And that is the shorter one right there. And then the longer one to the left of it actually goes right in here. This is just the bezel that surrounds the door handle here. And then you also want to pop off the tweeter cover. This thing, you can see one of the clips right there. And you just simply grab onto it and then you pull it out and it will come right out. Just be careful not to hit the tweeter here. Obviously, you can break it. So from here, you need to go and get in here, and I believe you need to pry about right here, and then this little bezel here will come off. All right, so this bezel is now off. What you actually need to do, and you can use a trim panel tool, that would be even better, but I just used a little flathead here. Just be careful if you're going to be using a metal tool. But basically you need to get right above the lock there, stick it in that little gap right between the bezel and the lock, and just pull out and it should just pop out. Mine's been off once before in the time that I've owned it, so it came off relatively easy. You can see right there where it clips in, just like that. And then from here, you should be able to go ahead and pull up on the door panel. I need to help it a little bit, and it'll pop right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this door panel off right now. All right, so before you pull up, you have to grab onto the bottom of the door here. You could even use, again, a trim panel removal tool, and you could pop out those clips are right there. It's not a bad idea to replace these. However, mine are still intact, so you'll get those popped out. Door panel will be floppy, and we should be able to go ahead and pull up here off this side. This is a whole lot easier to do when you're not filming, so I'll go and set down the camera, finish taking off the door panel. Door panel is off, and I've noticed the two times, and I've had all these door panels off before, and all of them like to get stuck on the handle here. So you need to have it pressed down all the way up here, pull out, and then push up, or else it'll get caught on the door handle. And then you need to take out the connectors here. Just simply do by pressing in that little tab right there, and then the one over here. And just like that, you have one more connector down here for the little door light, which the little tab right there. Again, you press down on that one, and then you could go ahead and take the door panel off. And there is the speaker. There are the rivets that we're gonna have to drill out. I am actually gonna rivet the new base back into the door instead of using nuts and bolts, because there's really no room to go ahead and, stick a bolt in here and get the nut back there. So I'm gonna go in and do that. I'm gonna drill out the rivets here and then disconnect this little connector here, which it looks like just push this little tab in right there and it should come out. It's not right now though. It's probably kind of frozen in there because it's been like that for what, 20 years? So there it is. Well, just about 20 years. So let's go ahead and do that now. To get this connector out, you actually have to really kind of push in on the thing, and then you'll kind of feel it disengage, and then it'll just pop right out. So there is the tab right there, and it should pop out. What I'm actually going to do before I drill out the rivets is I'm going to compare the connectors, make sure they actually clip in to make sure that I have the right connectors before I decide to take the speaker out. Here are the adapters. You can see right there is where it goes onto the terminals on the speaker. And then right there are the other terminals that go into the actual connector here, and they actually do fit. It's a little bit loose, but that's all right. They're kind of cheap connectors anyways. I'll leave a link for these in the description below. I forget what brand they are, but it's some off-brand. But anyways, they seem to work, and it also comes with 4 of these. I didn't even pay attention. I just knew that it came with at least 2, so I was kind of surprised to see that it came with 4. But anyways, they will work, so I'm happy to see that. So going to drill out these 3 rivets. Just going to get this one drilled out here. There we go. All right, so I have now put in my Noiko sound deadening, and you can see I have a little bit surrounding where the speaker mounts. I also put some here around where that adapter piece is going to mount, just to kind of create a little bit of a seal. I just like doing that. I think it does something. I don't have any evidence of that though. And you can also see inside of here, I have some sound deadening around here just to prevent vibrations, and also this will block out a little bit of the road noise, not a whole lot, and this should also improve acoustics. And since there is now more weight on your door and this stuff is more solid, it'll make your door sound, you know, more solid whenever you close it. Especially on my, for example, my 96 Jeep Cherokee. That thing had real hollow sounding doors. The metal on that thing is very thick, and I had a bunch of this stuff into the door and along with the whole Jeep, and now the door sounds extremely solid. So anyways, there it is. So I guess what I'll do now is I guess we'll go and put in the speaker. All right, so I now have the adapter mounting bracket, whatever you want to call it, here riveted in place. I just drilled out the old ones, obviously, to get the old speaker out, and I put in new ones. Now, you could use a nut and a bolt, but I don't know how you're going to get to it. Really, riveting is just the best way. Also put some sound deadening around here. Again, I'm just trying to create the best seal possible, and then I have my adapters here plugged in right through the provided hole in the adapter there. And I also have some dielectric grease on the terminals there. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in now. I might put it like this, or I might turn it around. I'll figure something out. But next thing, I'm just gonna screw it in. All right, so I put the passenger side all back together, and I went ahead and tried it without the door panel off to, you know, just make sure everything was working correctly. And I wanted to see how it sounded, and I noticed that the driver's side had a good bit more bass. And really, the driver's side just actually sounded better overall. So I thought, okay, well, either the factory speakers are somehow better, or it's because I don't have the door panel on. So I threw on the door panel, and now they sound better. The only reason I can really think of why it's sounding better is because now that there's, you know, more plastic, more material there, it's actually bouncing, you know, sound waves are bouncing off of that more, I guess. And, you know, of course, producing more bass. So now that the sound quality is a lot better, I have noticed that the bass on the passenger side, the new speaker, is a little bit better than the driver's side, not a whole lot. However, it is a good bit more clear, and there is also less vibrations now that I have that sound deadener in there. So a bit of an improvement. I was hoping for more of an improvement, but hey, an improvement is still an improvement. I would assume if you get, you know, more higher end, better speakers, they would probably sound a good bit more better than the driver's side. But these kickers, they're all right. They're a pretty decent brand, kind of middle of the line, not low end or not high end. JBL is more high end. I know they make a $100 pair of, I believe, 6.5. I was going to get those for these, or for this Lexus, but Kicker's a good brand, so I just decided to go with that. But anyways, there we go. So I'll go and move on to the driver's side. I'll just do the exact same thing over there, take out the door panel, drill out the old one, rivet the new one back in, and apply my sound deadener, and then the speaker upgrade in the front will be done. All right, so I got the driver's side done. Didn't take me that terribly long, definitely took me less time than the passenger side. You can see here I have it all mounted in, riveted, and I have a bunch of my sound deadening around there. And both sides are working. I also went ahead and sealed up the little hole up here with some sound deadening. And last time I was in here, I also put some sound deadening here just to prevent a little bit of vibration from going into the door panel and possibly creating a place to vibrate there. So there it is. I guess I'll go and put everything back together, give it a listen, and see if it's any better, which I already know it's a little bit better. But anyways, there we go. All right, so there it was, upgrading the front speakers in my Lexus IS300. Overall, this was a relatively simple job. I got it all done the same night that I got those adapters. I had to wait a couple days, obviously, because those weren't in the mail the same time that I got the speakers and the little plastic adapters. But overall, again, it was relatively simple. Links for everything that I use will be down below the this video in the description, links to the Amazon page for them. And everything is so far working great. The kicker speakers, as I mentioned, they're a good bit clearer than the factory ones, which, by the way, here is one of the factory ones. I went ahead and just cleaned this one up. I'll show you guys the back here. It says Toyota on it, and it is 4 ohms, which the kickers that I got are also 4 ohms. So there is that. Make sure if you are upgrading the speakers, make sure they're also 4 ohms, unless you have a factory or an aftermarket head unit, then it could probably be compatible with different speaker ohmage. But anyways, 4 ohms is what the factory head unit needs. And there it is. In terms of, again, fitment, everything fits fine. It clears the door panel completely. So overall, this was a pretty good job, in my opinion. Is it worth it? Maybe. I would say so. Maybe if you just want to upgrade the speakers in your IS, or maybe if you have a blown out front speaker in your Lexus and you need to replace them. Well, this is hopefully a good tutorial on how to do it. So anyways, yeah, there it is. Hope everybody enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.